Hey everybody, my name is Jacob Rodriguez, and this is my video diary number one for Communications 4310. The first question we had was, what classical theory would I choose if I was starting a new company? And after thinking about it for a little while, I decided to go with Henry Fayol's administrative theory. This was developed in the late 1800s to early 1900s. He wrote a book called General and Industrial Management, in which he outlined this theory. Within the book, there were 14 principles stating practical ways that management should accomplish these duties. And a huge focus for him was fixing problems before they occurred or minimizing problems before they occurred. And I think that in 2018, that's very necessary for a company to be successful when the demand is always to have results immediately. So moving on, we also had to read two articles. The articles were on Marissa Mayer. She's the current CEO of Yahoo. And the topic was her decision to only take 2 weeks of maternity leave, although more is available to her. A lot of people are up in arms about this because she's the CEO, one of only 25 Fortune 500 female CEOs, and people felt that she was setting a bad example for females and for women in the industry. I personally think that she is allowed to do whatever she wants with her body. I think that as long as she is healthy after her pregnancy and feels like she's ready to come back to work, that she should have every right to come back to work. And she should also have every right to take some extended time if she wants to. I don't think she should be criticized one way or another for that decision at all. And our next reading was Humor as a Serious Business. Now, within this reading, we went over several topics about humor and kind of how it's implemented in organizations and the effect that it can have on organizations. And we were tasked to discuss a few things. Humor can create harmony or heartbreak. People can have hurt feelings. There can be misunderstandings when humor is involved. But at the same time, it can be a way to let off steam. I believe that it overall is very helpful as far as helping organizations function harmoniously. Moments of tension often arise, and humor is definitely a way that can help ease that tension in those situations. I think members can utilize humor to do things like make light of a situation, and maybe a difficult situation arises, and someone can make a joke and use that to kind of ease the tension once again and laugh away, awkwardness. Oftentimes, people who work together rely on symbolic resources, and humor can be that symbolic resource that, as we said, helps people let off steam and just kind of helps people within an organization, get through their day and make things kind of move a little easier with humor used as a resource to accomplish that means. Um, we also discussed systems theory, and I guess my understanding of the theory is that it provides an analytical framework, unlike other theories. It examines how people connect outside of a system, opposed to just how things function within that system. All of the parts are related on one another and rely on one another. And the example that I thought of was an assembly line. Each part's important, whether it's large or small. Each part has to do its job. If not, the end result is just something that doesn't work. You fail if each part doesn't work. Everything's relied on one another, and I think that very much sums up systems theories. They have a huge impact in organizations today. Companies are much more aware of their employees, of what's going on, or at least they seem to try to be. They see what employees need and want. Companies are a lot more engaging. I myself work for a large company. It's an alcohol distributor, and we're throughout North America. And they constantly have open table discussions and things that surveys that we fill out that help them get feedback on what we're thinking and what we'd like to see change in the company. And I think that's just another great example of how systems theories impact today's society. On that note, as far we can talk about an organization that's recently engaged in public conflict. Amazon is the first one that comes to mind. They're based out of Seattle, Washington, and recently the homeless rate has gone up tremendously in Seattle. And a lot of people are attributing this to the success of Amazon and secondly, Starbucks, who's been there for a very long time. These companies have made the economy boom, and because of that, the housing market has gone up, and a lot of people can no longer afford housing in that market that is Seattle. So because of that, the homeless number has skyrocketed. People are blaming Amazon. Amazon has stated that it's not their fault that they've been successful, but it's not their fault that there is now a homeless issue in the city. The city did not disagree. They voted 9-0 to pass a tax that now charges Amazon and every company in Seattle $275 per employee, and that's money is going. Those proceeds are going to go to helping the homeless issue. So that's been a big story in the news that a lot of you may have heard of. So when you look at a company like Amazon, it makes you think of their culture, and we're tasked with defining culture ourselves. And I personally define culture as the beliefs, values, and practices among a group of people, or at least beliefs and values that that group collectively recognizes. We're also told to look at differences between viewing an organization's culture between something it has and something it is. So in the text, I came across two perspectives within a given about organization's culture, and one defines culture as a variable. So that's something that can be changed. It's something that the employees, similar to the way I discussed with my company, that we have an effect on, and it's ever evolving. The other way it discussed was culture as a root metaphor, and that's something that it is. And so that would imply that, a company has a certain culture, and that me as an employee, if I worked for that company, I would be attempting to learn that culture and become a part of that culture, opposed to being the one who's creating that culture. So after talking about that, we kind of looked at myself, and we were going to discuss what were the most powerful symbols that we've encountered at University of Houston downtown. And for me, I'd say it's the people. I've only taken night classes there because I work during the day, and the rest have been online classes. So I'm finding a lot of people similar to me in the sense that they're older. They're not your typical college, 18 to 23-year-old. They have full-time jobs, and a lot of them have families at home. And for me, that's been a powerful symbol. Just to see those people working towards a goal, it kind of gives me a lot of confidence that I can do it too. And certainly is very motivating. As far as the rest of my, in my personal life, I'd say my family's been the biggest symbol for me. I have a very large family. I have 9 brothers and sisters. I have about 49, 50 cousins, first cousins. So because of that, I've always, looked at my personal family, the Rodriguez clan, if you will, as a very powerful symbol that I've been a part of us, because we're a network in ourselves. We all have an uncle who does this or that, and it's definitely been a powerful symbol for me. So thank you again for your time, and I can't wait to hear from you guys. Thank you.